Welcome to Bar Talk Podcast. This is episode number 5. Talking about brand name versus generic. We have a little get to know segment as well. Before that, guys, yesterday was 9/11, so I just wanted to take a moment to remember our first responders and thank them, and remember all those who we've lost. That was 19 years ago already, guys. 19 years. Long time. Time flies, guys. I remember, I was in school yet. I was in 8th grade. Wow. Long time ago. Whew. All right. Let me go ahead. I will bring Audrey up here with me. She's coming on in a second. Hey, what's going on?
Nothing. What's up with you?
Nothing. I feel like I just saw you 5 minutes ago.
Really? I have no idea why.
Oh, me either. Yeah, 9/11, huh? Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it was 19 years ago.
Let's see. Where's Bruno? There's Bruno. Let's bring Bruno up too.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Bruno.
Hello.
Hey, bud.
I know. I heard your conversation. It doesn't seem like it seems just like it's the other day still, but somebody made a good point the other day that you remember how the country came together after 9/11? Why can't we do that now?
Yeah, we're all separated and pulling apart.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
some great point the other day on Facebook about that.
Well, I think at some point, I think everybody's just gonna get over the bullshit all at once, and maybe we'll all.
It's a possibility.
Anyway, well, today we're talking a little brand name versus generic. We were supposed to have Debna's readings on. She had quite a hectic day today. She was running a community yard sale, Bruno. She was part of that. And,
Okay.
she got ditched cleaning everything up. So she got stuck cleaning everything up. So Deb's not going to be with us tonight. So we're talking a little bit brand name and generic stuff. Bruno, do you like any generic products over their brand name counterparts?
Well, I know that, let's put it this way, I take a few medications that are generic. I know that I save a shitload of money, and I guess it works. But as far as generic goes, like, I'm not into, like in the past, I'm not into generic soda. Like, I do the name brands when I used to, but I don't really drink soda anymore, so I usually do iced tea, and I brew my own. But, you know, like back in the day, I would rather have Coca-Cola or Pepsi as opposed to RC Cola or Polar Cola or any of those other companies. They just weren't the same.
Audrey, how about you? Do you prefer any generic products over regular ones?
It honestly depends on what it is. With medicines, I don't really see the difference between how they work. Like, I mean, if you buy Tylenol or something and you buy the generic brand, I don't see a difference. Now, if you come down to certain foods I like generic, very rarely. But there's some, like macaroni and cheese, I have to have Kraft. I can't stand the taste of like the generic cheese that they put in with the generic brand.
The chemical cheese.
Yeah. It tastes more chemically.
How about
but yeah, like, for food and stuff like that, it depends on what it is.
We have generic Oreos.
Generic Oreos I'm okay with. I guess it depends on the brand of generic it is. Ice cream's ice cream now. I'll eat any of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's really are there that many generic food products out there. I think because I don't think really generic per se. I think you have different brands, like you said, with Kraft was the original macaroni and cheese. So I don't consider like Annie's mac and cheese. I don't consider them generic. You know what I mean? So it's the foods are kind of hard in the generic portion. I guess. I mean.
Well, it also comes down to what is technically generic.
Right.
Like,
Right.
is it just because it's not a higher named brand, or is it like if you get the Walmart brand, that's considered just generic because it's through the store?
Right.
It's like the store brand.
And the funny thing is correct. So is it generic or just store brand? Because some of that store brand, I mean, if you look, I was told years ago, if you, especially if you shop Walmart, if you shop the big BJ's, Costco's, all the big wholesale people, if you look at where the product is manufactured, a lot of times the same company that might do Tide makes a Walmart brand detergent. Okay, so if you look at the manufacturer, you'll see that, and there might be a $2 savings where, if you bought the Walmart laundry soap as opposed to the Tide, because, I mean, laundry soaps have gone outrageously priced. I can't believe how much a little, and they're not even gallons anymore. They're just under a gallon. Look at the orange juice these days. I bitched about that a while ago with Big Daddy. If you look at the orange juice, there's no more half-gallon orange juices. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. If you buy a half-gallon carton, it's not a half-gallon anymore.
Yeah, I just said something similar too. You were talking about the laundry detergent with store brands. I was just talking to Audrey a little bit earlier tonight about General Mills and another brand called Malto Meal,
Yep.
bagged cereal. It's made by General Mills.
Right. Exactly. That's, so what is, I guess it's considered, I guess you can consider that stuff generic per se, but I'm assuming that it's basically, it's non-store or, store brand as opposed to buying a name brand, I guess.
It's brand name's generic version.
Well, correct.
Just pretty much leave it at that.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Now there we have different prescriptions. Again, I haven't had any issues with generic prescriptions.
I haven't either. I mean, pretty much it's the same exact thing, just by a different name. Like it's the same drug combination of whatever's in it.
John Lucas, the generic pasta gusto, got him through some lean times in the past.
Do they make a generic ramen noodle?
They might.
I know there's two different brands. There's like the actual ramen, and then the I forgot. It begins with an M.
Oh, the Munchins. Yeah, Munchin or something. It's probably made by the same company.
Probably, yeah, probably. But yeah, with the generic pasta sauce, I don't mind that as much because I usually put like I'll put garlic and seasonings and shit in it as I want.
Yeah.
So I can make it to taste.
And it tastes wonderful.
Yeah, you have to say that though.
It does.
I mean, I think most people doctor jarred sauces anyway if they do it, so because they want to make it almost like their own. So.
Yeah.
How about generic shoes and clothing? I would think that would more be knockoff of higher brands.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I can attest to that. Like, if you go to Walmart and buy the Walmart brand, I forget the name of their brand, but if you buy their jeans, they're not like Levi's. I mean, well, first of all clothing manufacturers right now, everything sucks. I mean, Levi's years ago, I could have a pair of Levi's and I could have them for 10 years. Now they don't even last that long. The pockets start to get holes in them. They start to fray at the pocket entrance. The hems start to fray. So the quality is not even there anymore. But if you go to Walmart and buy, I forget the name of the generic they have, or they have a jean similar to Levi's, but it's not a Levi jean.
Yeah, before it used to be because of quality. Like you go to Walmart, you're probably buying a shirt that has like half of the strings hanging out of it, and you don't notice it until you bring it home. And yeah, like with the bigger brand names now, it's almost the same thing. You go to Old Navy, even you buy their brand of clothes, and they used to be like the top standing people when we were younger.
Right.
Melissa Marie said Faded Glory, she thinks, is the name brand for Walmart.
I think you're right. Whoever put that out there, if you guys could share, I haven't had a chance to share yet, so I don't know if you can, Ryan, share it to my wall on my page. People will come out.
Definitely share it to you.
I don't have my iPads charging, and I can't. If I go off now, I got to go off the air and go in and do all the programming. So.
No, go ahead. I'll share it to your wall now, Bruno.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you're right. The faded glory might be the ones for the jeans, and they just don't last long. The seams, the zippers, and even expensive clothing these days doesn't. I bought a few. I bought a few expensive, designer type, I guess, companies, if you want to call them that. I'm not going to name the brands, and one washing, and all of a sudden you could see it kind of fraying, and I think I caught my shirt somewhere, and it pulled the thread, and then like an idiot, I pulled the rest of it, and I ended up with a nice little hole. It's like on a $120 shirt. It's like, okay, great.
Yeah, at that point, you're better off just buying cheap because you're paying for pretty much the same quality of product, but for cheaper.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
I think you're right on the knockoff stuff. I mean, obviously online you can find a lot of that. I guess if you want to call it generics, because you can buy Uggs that look identically like Uggs, and they're made in Korea or somewhere, and they're half the money. But when you get them home, they're half the weight. And even the new ones now are half the weight because Uggs Australia was bought out by some Chinese company anyway. So
yeah. Clothing wise, I usually just buy whatever. Honestly.
yeah.
Yeah, he thinks it looks neat. He'll wear it.
Here's a good.
It's at the point that, like I said, the products are just not. What is there? If there was a great generic, if somebody made a knockoff generic polo shirt, let's say, I would probably buy it if it's $20 as opposed to $60, and maybe it lasts longer than the $60 one. I don't know, but
yeah, and if it doesn't last, even if it lasts, just about as long, it's still worth buying.
Exactly, at $20. So, but I don't think there's much generic in clothing as opposed to just cheaper manufacturers, and you got to be careful even with the name brands, because when you go to Costco's or BJ's, they don't generally get first qualities. That's all the stuff that Levi's might ship out to them, or whatever the other jean companies are, that might not pass their quality control to send to their high end stores.
Yeah, it can even be, it's something as simple as one stitch was off.
Right.
Yep.
Or
but it can
different
be
color
something
thread.
completely disastrous that you try it on once, it goes in the washer and it's done.
Yeah, places like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, they all carry stuff like that.
That's right. They buy all clear. They buy lots of stuff. That correct. Same when you go to Ocean State or any odd lots or any of those places, they're buying closeouts of either seconds, or they're buying closeout of stores that have closed.
Yep. Another good one. Colored pencils, knockoff, cheap Sharpies.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It seems like everybody.
Well, what is the name brand though? Like, I mean, so I guess I would say is that we always bought Crayola because of the fact that they had the great colors. And my mother always bought us the bigger box because we would go through them like crazy. But you're right. You go to Ocean State and you buy them. They don't last. The colors aren't the same. The crayon wax isn't as good. So I guess that could be generic per se. I would rather buy the Crayola at that point.
I'd have to agree. Like with what is it, Reynard or something like that? It begins with an R. Rose Art.
Yeah, Reynard's has a closeout, or has a store just like Ocean. Like in our area, we have Ocean State, Odd Lots, or Odd Lots, I guess it is. And
yeah, like if you go to any of those places and buy like crayons, you're pressing twice as hard to get the same color you would to just swipe over with a Crayola. Right. Now, colored pencils, they're pretty much the same. Yeah, the colors are a little different, but they're not exactly the same. So I'd probably would use the generic, whatever you want to call it, colored pencils. And for like markers, it really depends because there's some generic ones that actually work pretty damn good. Right. But I've noticed that a lot of the generic ones, they dry up really damn fast.
Well, you find the generics too, they're not filled. You can't see what's in them, so they don't.
Oh, yeah.
Same with when you get to that, it's like the Sharpies. I find that I only buy the Sharpie brand if I want permanent marker. Because all the other ones that supposedly look like Sharpies either do not last long or there's not enough ink in them.
Yeah, they don't last long at all.
Right.
You're better off just buying even like the Crayola markers. Yep, there's a Sharpie. So I have a whole entire pencil
the
case.
industrial super permanent ones.
Yeah, well, they make the big fat one with the big, with the big tip on them. So
Yeah, I bought one of those like huge pencil cases that are like twice as long, and they're filled with Sharpies.
right.
Better off stocked up.
Audrey, this is one that's right up your alley.
Are you generic diapers?
Tell us
Suck.
about diapers.
They suck. You have them on a baby for an hour and they pee, and you can pick that child up, and even if they pee just a little bit, their pants, you can feel it right through.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad. They're made so horribly anymore. Now, if you get into like cloth diapers, I never really got into them, but I'm assuming you'd probably get the same effect. I mean, it just soaks right through.
Well, yeah, cloth diapers, you're changing them more often than not. You're just not
Yeah.
away.
Well, it's like if you plan on going out anywhere, never use like a cheapo diaper. Don't use Love's or, your dollar store brand. Oh, they're bad. And they peel apart really easy too, because they're like Bridget, she went through a phase where she was like peeling her diaper apart. Like she would have a onesie on, and then she would have a shirt and shorts or pants, or depending on how hot it was. And she would pull them down, and then she would open her onesie and start gently peeling it. It was bad. And then on top of that, the gel gets everywhere because it's all like the gel soaks up.
Right, because that's what's supposed to absorb everything. It's supposed to be in between the liners. It's supposed to be that gel, right?
Yeah, so like, and on top of that, if that ever happened, like if Jason was little and he was taking a nap or something, and that happened, they're sleeping. You're not waking them. You're like, let them sleep.
Yeah.
So they pee while they're sleeping, and that gel gets everywhere. Jason used to try to eat it.
Oh.
Well, with his autism and stuff, he was just like, okay, this feels cool, But
probably.
Yeah, like, and I'm sure that's not really good for him, But I never really had that issue with the brand name diapers like Huggies or Pampers.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say that generic is not the way to go with diapers.
We live at a quantity, not quality era, and she's absolutely right. Audrey, another one that's going to be right up your alley.
Oh, cleaners. Generic cleaners work good. I noticed that a lot of the time, depending on the type of cleaner, it leaves a lovely film on stuff, and I hate that. That drives me nuts. For the most part, I make my own cleaner, unless Ryan brings me some detailing spray stuff.
Yeah, I find that generic. I find that so when you're talking Windex, spray Windex, that works the best for cleaning windows.
Oh yeah, agreed.
So I don't normally buy. I won't buy Stop and Shop or Walmart brand or that. I just won't. I think it's more diluted. You spend more. You use more of it, and you're wiping more of it where it leaves. You have to keep working at it because it leaves a haze. So you continue to have to work it. I find that the Windex, but I also find that. Remember in the old days, you used to use newspaper with the Windex, and the wind with the because and do you know the reason why it came out really nice? Because the ink had some type of chemical in it. I forget if it was lead or whatever it was, but that was the best for cleaning windows. Now the new inks are all water soluble, so when you use that, you use a newspaper, a colored newspaper, whatever, you're basically just putting the ink on the windows.
Yeah. Well, when I was in auto body, they used to use the newspaper there too when they did cleaning.
Yep. Well, because I and maybe not lead, but there's something in the ink that actually would work really well with cleaning the glass, and you'd get
on top of that, you're not leaving behind, like when you use a paper towel on a glass window or something, you're leaving behind like all those little pieces.
Now you're talking about quality again. Years ago, paper towels were really good. Nowadays, paper towels are so limp. I hate that.
Yeah, I do too. It drives me nuts.
You go to these fancy restaurants, they give you these nice napkins that fold and open up to a nice size napkin. You put it on your lap, you're wearing black slacks, and you leave there and you have all this white on your slack.
I think my favorite thing to clean windows with are probably microfibers.
That's the latest craze. That's been in the last probably 10 or 12 years. Microfibers. Do you know I learned something today from a guy that does ceramic coatings on automobiles and motorcycles and boats. And he told me, because I told him I've been using that top coat F11, and I use their microfiber cloths, and he told me that the microfiber cloths with seams in them are more dangerous. You should be buying the microfiber cloths without the seams.
Yep.
So, and I'm assuming what he's talking about is at the end of the microfiber, they obviously stitch it so it doesn't fall apart, correct?
Yep. And when you stitch it, it gets kind of hard. And when you're wiping it on a car, it'll scratch it.
Correct. And it
Yep.
could, and that area could, those areas could hold small dirt particles and you could scratch the car. That's what he was saying. I'm thinking microfiber is a microfiber. I'm not thinking that, but you're right. And I went and cut one today. And I find that now that I'm using it, all the microfiber is falling apart. So it's useless.
You want one that has an end like that.
Say again?
You want one that has an end like this.
I can't see you. I can only see Audrey. So I don't know how you can split the screen.
Facebook saw a microfiber without an end on it.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I have to order some of those, I guess.
Someone said in chat the aluminum foil.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I cannot.
Oh yes. Only Reynolds. Only Reynolds.
Only
Everybody else is either melts when you put it on your grill, or if you make a foil pack, it falls apart, or it peels as it gets hot. So you have to be very careful, because then you end up having aluminum pieces in your food.
Oh yeah, and on top of that, like you have it where it's supposed to be non-stick, and they stick to it. It's like, what's the point of it? You put it there so you don't have to, worry about things sticking.
Correct.
And bam, it's like you're peeling it off.
The same with saran wrap. That's the only one you can stretch tight and beat it like a drum when you're done putting it over something. Everything else does not stick. It sticks to itself, but it does not stick to a bowl or to a plate or whatever.
Yeah, I use the Glad wrap, the one that's like kind of sticky.
Yeah.
I use
Glad and Saran probably have the two of the. I mean, Saran was probably the original term, right? Was Saran wrap?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
So,
but the Glad wrap I like better, because you can actually like get an airtight seal on it without, like, you open it once. With Saran wrap, you have to pretty much put a new piece on, depending on what you're opening.
Yeah.
And then with this Glad wrap, you can just press and seal it back on.
Generic electronics.
Huh. Yeah, I'm not really
I mean, what's a name brand anymore? I mean, there's so many brands of electronics out there. The TVs. Like, would you buy a Vizio over a Sony? I mean, I know Sony's been in the industry forever, but Vizio makes a better product than Sony does now. I don't. And I think in the same realm, that's where I bet you have the same electronic companies putting together the same products, just different names.
Well, looking at we'll take smartphones as an example.
Yeah.
iPhone, Bruno.
Yeah.
It's probably using a Samsung screen.
Okay.
Most phones these days are usually using a screen produced by Samsung or LG.
Because they're the best. They have the best resolution screens on their TVs, and obviously, so they're using it for the phones, right?
Now, phones, man, I would say like Alcatel, Huawei, they would be your generic brands, but they're not really generic brands. They're Chinese brands. They're like Japanese brands.
Yeah, isn't there like one that's blue, BLU?
Yeah, that's actually. Yeah. I think that was an undermining of Walmart.
Yeah.
No idea.
Now, again, this is, I think, is another category where you're going to find more knockoff products than you will generic products.
Correct.
The AirPods on the screen. You could buy $200 Apple AirPods, or you can go on the Wish app and buy 50-cent Apple AirPods.
So has anybody? We have to do a show sometimes on. We have to have people come and tell us, because I see those all the time on Facebook advertised. They look exactly like the Apple Pods, and they're $19 for the charging case, the case, the thing, and they come in the white, black. They come in like all the different colors. So I wonder exactly how crisp the sound really is and how much different you can make it than a Apple iPod.
Well, and here I'll put this up on the screen too. Wireless charger. This isn't a brand name, you know.
Yeah, that actually works pretty good.
It's a brand that has a name, but it is not a brand name product.
Right.
It is an Armstrong. It was at Harbor Freight for $15.
Now, some phones can't, like my phones, I've tried wireless charger. It doesn't work on my phone. I don't know why. I have a
What iPhone do you have?
Z4. I have a Motorola Z4 Droid.
Oh, you have a Moto.
Yeah. I've always had Motorola's. I find, here's where you go from generic or whatever brand. I find that the Motorola antenna or whatever is probably one of the best in the marketplace because I can be in the outskirts and I could be next to a guy with a Samsung. I've got 1 bar. He has 0 bars. I could have 4 bars. He's got 2 bars. So, and it's been proven because a lot of my friends have the Samsung phones and various other phones, even the iPhones. And I have better. I can pull in better reception.
I feel like Bruno's talking about me.
Me too.
I think most of it has to do with, it's probably just service. I mean, I know the new S series Samsungs have real good service, but I know some of the notes were a little sketchy, especially running on AT&T towers.
Well, see, these are all and these guys. I should say that all my friends either on Samsungs or iPhones, they're all on Verizon service because we need Verizon. See, unfortunately, up here where I am in North, you can't use any of the other companies. There is you will not pick service. So if you have AT&T, you're going to stop about 15 minutes before you get to my house. You'll have no more service. Yeah. So, and it's gotten a little bit better. A little bit better, but not much better. Years ago, it was a half hour away. So friends of mine that had AT&T or Cellular One, they could basically drive up, and about a half hour before my house, they'd have to call me and go, if you need something, this is our last stop before we lose service.
Bruno, I have one here just for you.
Yeah, I won't be able to see it, but I'll have to see it on the replay.
Cheap cigars versus expensive cigars.
Oh, yes. There's a big difference because, and there's a lot of knockoffs in those as well. It's how they're rolled. And this is the thing on the generic. They roll a whole bunch of garbage in the middle. So what happens is they roll a lot of the not very, very good leaf. And then they take the last 1 or 2 rolls, and that would be what you're looking at for the cigar. So if you're getting a dark or a light, you'll be a heavy Maduro or a light, or it'll be some type of infused with oil maybe. But that's what will happen. So the last wrap really, but you're smoking all of that, not just the last wrap. So there is a big difference in cheap. You go to you run into the grocery store and you see the cigars sitting there at the counter in those little, they're not even in humidors, they're in the glass, they're in those plastic cases where they come out. Stay away from them.
Yep.
Might as well just inhale matches or something, whatever. There's a big difference.
Not big on cigars. I'm not.
Yeah, what about cigarettes? I mean, how do they? So I noticed that I noticed people have said that they buy the generic cigarettes and they will go through 3 cigarettes. Where if they bought a Marlboro, they might go through 1 in the 10 or in the 15 or 20 minutes that they're smoking it.
Well, from my past experience, used to roll them all the time. Never noticed a difference. Honestly.
Yeah.
Audrey?
I do notice the difference between the rolled cigarettes and from like Marlboro, because that's what I used to smoke. Most of it had a lot to do more with the taste. I think it's more of a factor of getting used to it because it is way cheaper to roll your own.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably the biggest challenge.
And I don't think rolling your own is really generic because you can buy whatever tobacco you really want. So you can buy different quality tobacco. But if you went and bought a Marlboro cigarette and you went and bought the actual because in cigarettes there are actually generics. So if you bought a menthol Marlboro and a menthol genetic, the Marlboro one's going to have much more flavor menthol, and it's going to actually smoke a little longer than the other one, because the other one's filled with the regular fillers and it'll burn down fast.
Yeah, well, it also comes down to like just in strength. I mean, if you put like Camels next to a Marlboro, I'd probably pick the Marlboro because that was just my brand of cigarette.
Well, because you were used to that, so you would know. If somebody that didn't smoke it would not know the difference.
Yeah, like when they came out with the Camo Crush or whatever with the beads. Oh, I hated those. It made it way too strong. It tasted like you were like smoking candy. But yeah, like if it came down to like a lower brand, like a cheaper generic or whatever you want to call it, I'd probably still stick with Marlboros if I had to pick between the two.
Right. And getting back to cigars, you can have these, you can have the generics that these people say are Cuban cigars, and they're really not. If the cigar doesn't come from Cuba and it's not hand rolled in Cuba, it's not a Cuban cigar. But there are a lot of people out there that sell Cuban cigars.
Yeah. There's another one, little more up my alley. Generic musical instruments.
Yeah, that's all you, Ryan.
Which is kind of interesting at this point, because all of the brands that used to be generic musical instruments all got bought out by the big brands.
Interesting.
So there really is no more generic musical instruments. You can get there's companies out of China that I know people were actually ordering them and unboxing them on YouTube. Like knockoff like 72 Les Pauls, old Gibson Les Paul knockoffs.
But they may look like that, but how do they sound?
According to these people, they played like the real thing, and I heard audio from them. They sounded good. Like some of them, I don't even care what they were supposed to be, a recreation of or supposedly were. I actually just liked how they looked. So I actually tossed around the idea of getting a couple of them at one point just because I thought they looked cool. But yeah, we'll skim past that one there.
What's the difference in price?
Thousands.
Wow.
Thousands. Now here's one that interested in me that I kind of thought about. Knockoff motorcycles, because there really isn't any.
No, because everybody's a brand. I mean, there's not really knockoff. It's more like what your preference is and how much money you want to spend.
Well, I guess it also comes down to like Audi or Audi, however it's pronounced. Don't know.
Audi's a knockoff, or like a generic brand.
Well, no, I mean, like if you go towards the generic portion, like when I was a kid, I never even heard of it. So with that in technicalities, like it might have been big in a different country, but would that have been considered a generic?
No,
because it wasn't big in our country.
No, I don't think in motorcycle and cars you have a generic. You have just a preference of model and price tag. I think there is no generic per se.
So pretty much it's like go for something cheap or more expensive.
Right.
Like I think like back in the day, okay, when you had
how old are you, Gramps?
When you had Chevy, you had Ford, you had Buick, you had Oldsmobile, but they were all different brands.
Correct.
But you had some of the smaller companies such as Oldsmobile, Buick, Mercury, and they were all kind of borrowing technology from Ford, from Chevrolet. I think at that point in time, we could have called those knockoff brands, but then through how many years they became iconic in their own right.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, if you want to, I don't know if you can categorize generic, like when Ford made the Mustang and Chevy made the Camaro, you know what I mean? They were just competing sports car to sports car. So I don't know if you can really call generic. I don't think there's generic in the automotive.
You look at the 80s, you look at the 80s and you had the Ford Mustang and you had the Mercury Capri.
Oh, correct. And that would be, but that's the same. But the Ford and Mercury were separate plants, but still one company.
Well, those vehicles were made at the same plant, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. They were. Yeah.
I just thought it would be kind of.
So I don't know. So right. So was the Mustang was the Capri, was that, I mean, was that generic? Which one was generic? You know what I mean? I think it was price point. I think that's what it was. I think you had one had a little bit higher price, the other one didn't. So the manufacturer was able to sell and still make money on both cars.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just thought it'd be interesting to bring it up just to get perspective on it.
Yep.
I think that's about all I have as far as name brand versus generic goes.
Yeah, I think it's hard to, because you can get into this as knockoffs, like you said, with the certain things. I mean, people, they're still in the hate. I mean, well, before COVID, you could go through New York City and somebody on the street corner would want to ask you if you want to buy a Louis Vuitton bag, and they take you to some back alley and you buy the bag, or they take you to some back alley and take your money, whichever. But generally, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that knockoff stuff, and they actually have a whole task force for that, which is amazing.
The sad part is that some of the knockoff stuff is really good.
Absolutely. Some of the knockoff
people.
It is very, very well made to fool people. That is correct. Unless you own one of those bags that you buy as a knockoff, you will not know it's a knockoff.
Yeah,
is what I'm told. On the good, the guys that you'll pay a couple $100 for. If you go and you buy a $5 Louis Vuitton bag, it's not a knockoff. If you go and buy a $200 Louis Vuitton bag knockoff, that's a knockoff, because it's going to have the weight. It's going to be identical looking.
All right, so we have another little segment we're going to do. It's called Get to Know Us. Audrey, are you reading these questions off, or do you want me to?
You're probably better off, because I don't think I can load the questions up on this computer.
That's fine with me. How do you want to do this? You want me to read them off? We'll just kind of go around.
Yeah.
All right, Bruno. We'll start with you, then we'll go with Audrey, and then I'll answer, and then segue to the next question. Bruno, what is something that you would consider yourself a little bit obsessed with?
Clean, about being, house clean, car clean, stuff like that.
Audrey?
Being on time. Because I noticed with the kids that, like, even when I try to get them to school and everything, I have to be outside at least that exact 10 minutes early to make sure that we're out there, be there, on time for appointments and stuff like that. I'm pretty obsessed with that. And the kids hate me for it.
I think I'm pretty obsessed with decorating the shit out of this room.
I did not help at all.
Bruno, you see the fancy little lights I have hanging over this shoulder? I finally put lights around the painting. Oh, yeah, well, you can't see. You'll see after
I can't see. I'll have to see it after I play the replay. No problem.
All right. Next question. Bruno, what would be your perfect weekend?
Perfect weekend would be no work, either riding my motorcycle or going out on my boat on a beautiful summer weekend.
Audrey?
No kids for the whole weekend. Laying down watching TV, and I have a hoagie for each meal of the day. And then I get endless TV.
Of what you want to watch.
Of anything I want to watch that is not animated. Because with the kids, it has to be animated. I want big people movies.
Oh, man. What is my perfect weekend? I think I have one. Any weekend where I could lock myself up here for 48 hours in complete silence, that would be good.
You can go pee off the deck then if you need the slide meals under your door.
That would work out. Bruno, what's your favorite number and why?
Favorite number and why? I'm going to say number 4. And that was Bobby Orr when I was growing up. And that's a number that I kind of favoritize.
Audrey?
26, and it's for the most stupidest reason. When we were kids, we had like the specific channels for, for every channel. Yeah, exactly. Ryan knows where this is going. So I love Nickelodeon, so channel 26 was for Nickelodeon. So that just kind of stuck as my favorite number.
My favorite number is 45 because Cartoon Network was always better.
44 was TNT.
Yeah, my
We're
favorite.
gonna go through this.
Let's not. My favorite number was 22, and I don't have a very good reason why. It was that's my birthday is the 22nd. Okay, of the second month. It was February 22nd. My address growing up was 222. And all this crazy shit always happens that has 2 or 22 or 222 in it with me.
Wow.
Next question, Bruno. What's the most useful thing that you own?
My Leatherman.
Audrey?
I have no idea. I have so many kitchen things. I just say my kitchen. It's all useful.
You own it.
Yes, I do own it. It's all mine.
Oh, most useful thing that I own. Ooh, probably.
Oh, you really have to think.
Huh?
I said, ooh, you really have to think.
I do. I bought a lot of stuff at Harbor Freight today.
Wow.
If you asked me a couple hours ago, probably the lathe that I bought because it was very useful.
Yeah, you seemed very excited over that.
We should have bought one of those years ago.
Is that a wood lathe or a general lathe? You can do anything.
A wood lathe, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Your favorite way to waste time?
Waste time is Facebook.
Yeah. Audrey?
Yeah, this is my favorite way to waste time. Sitting here bullshitting for a little bit.
Yeah. God, I like wasting time on Facebook, but I think YouTube edges it out.
Oh yeah, you get into that whole loop when you watch YouTube. Oh God, is it bad?
I get lost in a black hole and I'm gone till 2 a.m.
I'll wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and he's passed out on the table with YouTube still running on his phone.
That's because once you start into YouTube on some category, it just continues to bring up stuff to keep going. It's like, do you want to stop or not? You know?
Yeah, and he'll keep going.
Great format.
Absolutely. Bruno, something popular now that annoys you.
Something popular now that annoys me. This BLM movement.
Audrey?
A lot of today's music bothers me. It's not really music.
I hate that people feel the need to throw the word legit in front of everything.
Legit.
I legit hate when people throw the word legit in front of everything.
I think if they keep using that word, they're bullshitting you.
Did they actually turn that into a word yet? Because I know the actual word is legitimate.
No. Legit was always a word.
Was it?
It's in the dictionary if you look at it. Yeah, legitimate, legit. It shows it. Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought someone shortened it and just kind of went with that.
It may have been shortened after the second dictionary was put out. Who knows?
They're too lazy to just say legitimately, so they just throw the word legit in there wherever the hell they want.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
It's almost like a curse word.
Cool.
Let's see. Let's find a good one. Bruno, if you had intro music, what song would it be and why?
If I had intro music, that's interesting. That's real interesting. I think that I would have to go with Boston because that's where I grew up.
Audrey?
Boston's More Than a Feeling.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Meredith Brooks, bitch.
I feel like I have this one easy. I already have intro music.
I already knew you were going there.
All right. Bruno, if you opened a business, what kind of business would it be?
I already had. If I opened a new business, I would like to open a motorcycle repair, sales, custom build shop.
Audrey?
I'd probably open a restaurant.
I'd probably start a podcast.
How many podcasts do you need?
If I was going to open a business, I would probably start a music production business. If I could just have all the money in the world to do it and just start one now, that's what I would do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that sounds like you.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's find a good one. Bruno, who in your life brings you the most joy?
Who in the life brings me my most joy? 37 years of joy. 33 years married next weekend. My
Oh,
wife.
but he said an after that. When he was thinking about it. You're going to be
No, I was thinking of my years. I was thinking.
Oh, okay. Likely story.
I was thinking of the years because we've only been 33 married, but we've been together 37.
Gotcha.
Audrey, he set the bar high for you.
I'm thinking of years. It would have to be the kids and Ryan. I can't pick between the three. They're equally as loved.
Yeah, well. The kids and Ryan. Yep.
And what's yours? The guitars?
No, definitely the kids. Definitely Audrey, hands down.
Exactly. I think if you ask that question to 100 people, 99.9 will say that.
Yeah.
Or they'll say their mom, or their wife. That's going to be it.
Or their cat.
Could be.
Because I'm surprised Ryan didn't say the cat.
The cat's. Let's see. Ooh, I like this one. If you had to change your name, what would your new name be?
If I had to change my name, holy shit. Oh my God. I don't know what would I do? They used to call me Bruce when I was a young kid and I never responded. And the teachers thought that I had some disability.
Oh, geez.
That's another story for another time. But anyway, I don't know. What would I do? Maybe interesting. My cousin's already the king of real estate, so I don't know what I would do. That's a good question. I don't know. What name would I really like? I don't
like anybody's name.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had my name going to be coming up in another weekend. I'm going to have it for 59 years.
Almost time
to you could say that you'll keep your own name. You don't have to
keep my own name. Exactly.
You can change your middle name.
My middle name's my father, so I'm not changing that. So
yeah, then just keep what you got.
Yeah, exactly. Bruno. Audrey.
Oh, Ryan's gonna get a big kick in the ass for this one. It would be Aubrey, just for the mere fact that when Ryan first met me, he called me Aubrey for about 2 weeks now with a B instead of a D. Until he figured out that my name was Audrey.
Because he obviously didn't see it.
If I was changing my name, I would change it to Brian because that's what everybody fucking calls me.
That's easy one. That's right.
I like this one. How often do you curse, and what's your go-to string of curse?
How often? I can swear quite a bit, and my go-to curse would definitely be the F word.
Audrey.
I never fucking curse.
Neither.
No, if I'm really pissed off, every word out of my mouth can be a very lovely combination of several different curse words.
But her favorite is son of a bitch.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. My favorite is son of a bitch, mostly because my grandmother, she raised me. And if she stubbed her toe, something happened, she goes, son of a bitch.
I know.
So that I picked that up from her.
I call everything a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Just not me, not my face.
No.
Couple more of these, and then we'll move on. What is the silliest fear that you have? By the way, Raquel, good evening. Nice to see you. Nancy's here. Jessica Sirafos is here. Got a bunch of people here tonight, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to go to my personal page, share it, post it everywhere. Bruno, the silliest fear that you have.
The silliest fear that I have is probably dentists and doctors. And I have to go to both of them on a regular basis.
Audrey?
Well, this has been mentioned before. I am terrified of turkeys. Live, gobbling, disgustingly evil, demonic turkeys. All because I went camping the one time and got bit when I was younger. So now screw you.
You can see him. I can't see him. See?
Oh no, he's putting the thing up on the screen and it says gobble gobble.
Oh yeah, see, I can't see. At least you can see that. I can't. I'm on my. I have to. I guess if I was on my iPad, I think I could see everybody, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, so yeah, I got bit when I was a kid. So yeah, I'm terrified of turkeys. My mom and my grandmother live up on a farm, and they have 3 or 4 turkeys. So I start screaming at them, "Get the hell away from me!" And then they talk to me, and I run. So yeah, that's probably the silliest thing. I don't think it's silly, but everybody else thinks it's hilarious.
Ah, boy, silliest fear. Audrey, what's my silliest fear?
I don't know. I've never seen you freak out over a spider or,
Well, no, the animals and stuff don't bother me.
Okay, well, how about you answer what's your weirdest fear? Do you have anything that's just kind of weird?
I think the only thing that I inherently won't do is get on an airplane. But if somebody set me up on a space shuttle, I would do it.
That could be.
That is weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
That's really the only thing that comes to mind. Right? I mean, obviously, it's not silly, but if something were to happen to you guys, everybody's always afraid of something happening to their loved ones.
Yeah,
but that's not considered a silly fear. That's
not right.
That's just fear.
Yeah. All right, Bruno, what is the best room in your house and why?
The best room in my house is my office, and it's because where I make money and do my business.
Audrey?
Kitchen, because I make yummy deliciousness out of the kitchen.
It's actually a hard one for me.
Oh yeah, okay.
No, really, believe it or not, this is actually a hard one.
It's not your room that you just finished decking out.
No. Honestly, I think my favorite room in the house is the garage because that's where I get to build stuff.
Cool. That's a good one.
That's where the car lives.
Yeah, but the car can be moved out when you're working in the garage. That's not a big deal.
That's where all the tools are. That's where I, all the guitars hanging on the wall. That's where all the guitar, the hangers. That's where they were all built. The desk that this computer is on. That's where that was built.
All right.
That's where all this stuff was built, man.
That works.
What weird or useless talent do you have?
Oh, what weird or useless talent do I have? Interesting. Weird or useless talent. I don't know. Nothing's really useless that I do. Talent. I don't know. That's a weird one. I don't know. I have to think about that one.
Think on it. We'll skip you for now. Audrey?
I can tie knots in my hair. Yeah, like quite literally. I don't know if you can see Bruno, but like Ryan's used to me doing this all the time.
Yeah. Oh, well.
It's a nervous habit.
So
like I literally tie knots in my hair. And I'll sit there and do that for hours.
Watch.
Yeah, he'll sit there at the table and I'm going like this.
Don't make me turn your video off. You're distracting our viewers. I think my weird, useless talent is probably being able to pack a grocery cart.
Oh my God. Well, it's not useless.
Right. That is my useless talent.
I went to the grocery store last weekend. And not the lady that was doing the checkout, but the lady that was packing the bags looked at me and went, "How the hell did you fit all this in that cart?"
I can't put anything in the cart either. If I put something in, he will take it out and rearrange the cart. Like it gets real bad.
That's more something OCD.
Yeah, he's definitely OCD about it.
Bruno, did you figure out your weird talent yet?
I don't really have a weird. What the hell?
I distracted him with my hair.
Weird talent. Weird talent. I don't really have a weird talent. I can't whistle. I don't have a weird talent. It's weird. Maybe my talent is that I can't whistle. I try with my fingers. I can't do it.
My talent is that I cannot whistle. All right, let's work on this one. Bruno, what is a fashion trend that you are really glad went away?
A fashion trend that ran away.
That you're really glad went away.
I don't think it's gone away yet. These people that wear their friggin' pants down around their fucking ass and they leave their underwear out. What's a fashion thing that disappeared?
Mine was the same thing. Like I haven't really seen it a lot lately, but I would say the same.
I would say pleather, the pleather stuff, the fake pleather stuff. Because I remember we were growing up, we'd have, we never had the money, so we had the pleather jackets, and then you went to, the school dances, and all your other people had these beautiful leather jackets, and we had these fake plastic jackets,
Afros.
They're still around.
Particularly Caucasian people with afros.
Well, okay, that's.
Like I'm talking like 70s disco era.
Maybe the fashion trend that I dislike is the stupid buns that these men.
Oh, the man buns.
The man pony or man bun, forget it. That's a fashion trend that needs to go out the door.
Sweater vests.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I'm glad
that's all coming back though. You can go to vintage stores and buy that stuff.
Oh yeah, they keep coming back around. I mean, even like bell bottoms and stuff like that. They had them in the 70s,
right? And
then when I was in high school, they started coming back a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, bell bottoms were cool though.
Yeah, they went.
You liked them because they were tight on all the right spots for you guys to look at.
Yeah, man.
Tight up top, loose at the bottom.
Yeah, they don't like feet. They don't need to see any of that shit.
Bruno, what is your favorite holiday?
Favorite holiday is probably Christmas because I like to gift. But that's a big problem for me too, is because I'm a thoughtful gift giver. So when I go to the store, I spend so much time thinking of exactly the right gift for the exact person, and that sucks for me because it takes me like 3 weeks of shopping, and that's like the 3 weeks just before Christmas. Like I should start now, but then I'll probably forget where I put the stuff.
Audrey, you have a good story about that.
About what?
About putting stuff way too early.
Putting stuff away. Yes.
Oh yeah, I started at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. They put stuff away, and my wife's done the same thing. And then 3 or 4 years later, she goes, "Oh yeah, I bought this for so and so, and I couldn't find it. Now I find it. Well, now you give it to her this year."
Yeah, that happened with my sister Midget. We bought her a fountain pen or something.
That happened with a couple things of hers. I think 2. It was a pen and
but it only happened with her stuff. It didn't happen with anybody else's stuff. Like we found all the kids' gifts, my grandmother's gifts, my mother, everybody.
If you couldn't guess, Audrey's favorite holiday is also Christmas.
Yeah, my favorite holiday is Christmas. Yeah, definitely. I'm big on the whole decorating and family time, and I get all into it. Ryan's gonna be so scared this year.
I'm gonna throw everybody off. My favorite's Thanksgiving. It's toss up between Thanksgiving and Halloween. Speaking of Halloween, guys,
segueing into Halloween. If we're done with
we're gonna be doing a Halloween costume contest this year, guys. Something that was near and dear to my heart to want to do a Halloween costume contest. We don't know all the little inconsistencies of how it's going to be run, but we will let you know how we're going to be doing things. Bruno, you and I talked about it. Audrey and I talked about it prior to you and I talking about it, so I was able to kind of relay what her and I talked about to you. One of these days, the three of us will get together and talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to totally have to hash everything out for it.
There will be a prize for the winner, and maybe a online voting, top vote for somebody online. Maybe we'll do the same. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see how many people we have by then. So guys, make sure you share the crap out of the show. Invite all your friends.
Yes.
They could be big winners, guys, and so could you.
Absolutely.
But yeah, nice little segue here.
And then talking about the Halloween there, I saw that Audrey sent me the because we can talk about the COVID for a minute, like how everybody's altering stuff to do. And so now they're talking about drive-through haunted houses.
Yep. She sent me the link to. She actually, I watched it when she had it on her computer. Yeah, they're doing like drive-through, where they making people sit in a stationary car and having people dressed up as zombies jump up against the car and put fake blood on it.
It's actually all in a garage, like you're in a secluded one car garage kind of deal.
Is that what that is? And then everything just comes out at you little by little, so you're not even moving.
Yeah, you just sit stationary, and they come over and attack your car. They shake it and they jump around it. And
yeah, I don't know if I'd want. I'm anal about that. I don't know if I'd want to do that.
I would love to take the kids there and not tell them they're going there. Just pull into the garage and be like, okay, well, hang on, we have to get some stuff, and then all of a sudden there's zombies everywhere. I would love to do that. It's horrible, but I would love to do it.
That would be funny.
Well, I can see that. I mean, you have the haunted hay rides now, but you're still with a bunch of people. So I can see that potentially those haunted hay rides, I can see those probably turning into the car itself. You're driving your own car through these
cornfields or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly, through the events and through the different areas of the haunted fields or whatever they call it.
I'm not sure if that's going to be. I'm not sure if they'll do that just because of the liability issue with whoever's driving. If they get freaked out.
Well, I understand. There's always a pro and con to everything. Exactly.
Yeah, well, if they do like the hay rides and they take like one family at a time kind of deal, put up some plexiglass like around the actual.
That's a possibility. That's probably what they're going to end up. That's probably what will end up happening is they'll have partitions. And so families will sit, pairs will sit, families would sit in the same location.
It'll cost more money that way, but then again, if they don't do it, a lot of farms and stuff like that are losing out on money.
Well,
chances are they'll charge a little more to do it.
Like our area used to have 3 or 4 big corn mazes, and they didn't put it together because they just don't want the people mingling with each other, I guess, is why they're not doing it. I don't know why. That's the only answer I can think of, because usually these 3 farms, they're very big farms, and they pride themselves on putting a maze together that, I mean, people have been in them 3 to 4 to 5 hours trying to get out of them.
Yeah, that's like the one in our area too. I don't know if they're running one this year.
Yeah, a lot. The ones around my area are not open, and I'm assuming it's because of COVID. They didn't do them. All the fields, all the cornfields right now our area is starting to get mowed down because we're already past the Labor Day point. So our corn is we're just about out with the late corn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now they're doing basically corn stalks. They've cut the corn stalks so you get ready for your decorations and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, well, what other things do you think they might make drive through? You know, they're doing drive-through haunted houses. You think they're gonna start doing more maybe do drive-through Thanksgiving? They'll toss turkey at your windshield.
As long as it's dead, I'm okay with that.
Well, you have drive-through liquor stores in Florida right now where you can drive
Oh, we
through.
have them here
You
too.
know, well, you drive around, you order and you drive through. It's drive. It's
Yeah.
not drive through. It's drive around. I
Oh,
never
we
thought the
actually
word
have
drive through because
we
you
have
don't really drive through the restaurant, right? So I get that. Like I go to McDonald's and I say to them,
Drive-through strip
is
clubs.
I
I'm
said
like,
yeah, drive. They already have the drive-through strip clubs. They already have that. Somebody did that already.
why
Somebody
everybody?
already did that. They did that in where the hell was it? It was a couple. It was a couple of places.
had to be Vegas.
It wasn't. It wasn't Vegas first. It was not Vegas first. I'd have to look it up because it was. I don't know if it was Canada. It was somewhere. Somebody did that. It actually might not even Canada. It might have been it might have been like Ohio or it might have been some weird state. I think it was. And the guy had, he had a bar and he didn't serve food, so he can't open up. So they decided to do a drive-through strip club.
Oh my god.
There's one in Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon. That's one of them. That might be the one that I think I was and they were actually using. And there's a couple of restaurants that there was a couple of ones that were restaurants, but more of a bar. They were using their strippers to deliver food and do a strip at your and at your house.
Yeah,
I amend my statement earlier when I said I was going to open a restaurant.
there you go.
I'm opening a drive-through strip club.
There you go.
That sounds like so much fun.
But they
Make more money.
actually do have drive-through beer distributors here where they have two garage doors and you literally drive through the building.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they've actually had them here well before the pandemic too. We had a couple of them.
Yeah, because they use those. That's where the packing. They let you drive in. You buy what you want. They stick it into your trunk and you drive out. Right?
Yep.
Interesting.
All right, so maybe we'll do maybe one or two questions, and maybe we'll call it. We're a little over an hour right now.
Yeah, that's fine because I'm getting ready to. I got to do a couple of things tonight before I get to bed.
But two more. Bruno, what would you want your last meal to be if you were on death row?
Ooh, my last meal on death row would probably have to be like a 150-pound ham. That way it would take long enough. It would probably be lobster, shrimp, scallops. It would probably be like a big seafood buffet.
Audrey?
Hoagie, hands down. I want at least 4 hoagies, and I'm going to, like, if I'm going to die anyway, I'm going to eat until I'm so damn stuffed that my stomach explodes and they don't have to kill me.
For me, it would definitely be meat lovers pizza, cheesecake. I'm gonna die anyway, so chocolate milk.
Get all your sugar in.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Cool.
When you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was a child, I wanted to be a construction worker like my dad, but then I realized that's too much like work.
Audrey?
I wanted to be a veterinarian. I just don't have the brains for it.
I wanted to be a rock star.
Still have time.
Yeah, one of these days. All right, guys. So I think we're going to end it there tonight. Bruno, have any final words?
Yeah, make sure you guys keep an eye out. We'll roll out soon the Halloween contest rules and when you have to submit by and where you have to submit, and that'll come out. Also, like you said in the beginning, the 9/11, all the first responders, families that were affected by that. I will never forget. I will tell you that much. I will never forget that. And hopefully we can get back to the peace that we had, and to all of our police officers and fire department and nurses, doctors, everybody, that we all have. I have you in my thoughts, and I know that we have you in our thoughts, and that everybody's doing the best that they can, and be patient, and hopefully we're going to get through this pandemic, and hopefully the world's going to turn around and we can hopefully unite again. That's one of my big wishes. Hopefully we can all unite again.
Yep. Very good last words, Bruno. I agree.
Cool. You guys have a good one. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I'm signing out.
You as well, Bruno. Have a good one, bud.
Take care.
Audrey, any final things to say?
Why do I feel like I'm on death row now and I deserve my 4 hoagies?
I don't know. Hang on. Let me help that.
You're going to help that?
There we go.
Thanks. That is a very random number.
Yes, it is.
Did you just type random numbers? Now I feel like a real American.
There you go. Yeah, like Bruno said, going to be letting some information out about the Halloween costume contest soon. We'll let you know where to submit. We'll let everybody know how we're going to run things. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, we just have to work out the details and we'll get it out to everybody.
Yeah, we'll get the minor details all flattened out, and everything will be good to go. Would you like to say goodbye?
Thank you for dealing with me. Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right. So now that you dealt with Audrey for 71 minutes and 33 seconds, we're going to let you go for the night. So thanks for tuning in to Bar Talk Podcast. Be sure to check us out on YouTube. Link is in the description below. Go over there. Comment there too. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on your way out so you can stay up to date on everything new that's happening with Bar Talk Wow, I can't speak. With Bar Talk Podcast. Make sure to like and share this live video. Go to my personal Facebook page. If you are not friends with me and can't see it, you should be able to. It should be public. Make sure you share it. If you need to add me, go for it. I think that's about it for tonight. So yeah, let's cue the music once I find it.